If you own a house in Houston that's part of an HOA, you may be wondering if those HOA rules, fees, or paperwork can make selling your home more difficult. And depending on your situation, they can. But an HOA doesn't automatically mean you can't sell your house. You just need to understand what you're dealing with before you put the property on the market. First, let's clear up what an HOA actually means when you're selling. An HOA, or Homeowners Association, can have rules involving things like property maintenance, exterior changes, parking, landscaping, and community standards. And there may also be regular HOA dues. When you're selling, those details can become part of the transaction. That's why it's important to know whether your HOA account is current and whether there are any outstanding issues with the property. One thing homeowners sometimes overlook is the possibility of unpaid HOA dues or other charges. Maybe you've fallen behind on monthly payments. Maybe there was a special assessment. Or maybe you're simply unsure whether the account is completely current. Before selling, it's worth finding out exactly what the HOA says is owed, because surprises are much easier to deal with when you know about them ahead of time. Another common concern is an HOA violation. Maybe there's an issue with the fence, the landscaping, or an exterior modification. Or something else the HOA says doesn't meet its rules. That doesn't necessarily mean you have to abandon your plans to sell. But you should understand the violation, what the HOA requires, and whether it needs to be resolved before closing. The important thing is not to ignore it. A little preparation can prevent a lot of surprises later. Here's something else homeowners should keep in mind. If you're already dealing with an HOA issue, you may be tempted to spend money making the property look perfect before selling, but don't automatically assume every improvement is necessary. Before spending thousands of dollars, look at the bigger picture. How much will the repairs or improvements actually cost? How much could they realistically add to the home's value? And how much time will the process take? Sometimes, the best decision isn't to make the house perfect. So, what are your options? You can sell traditionally through the open market and work with your agent and the HOA during the transaction. Or, depending on the property and your situation, you may want to explore an as-is sale. That can be worth considering if you're trying to avoid making extensive improvements, or you simply want a more straightforward process. The right choice depends on your timeline, your property's condition, and what you want to accomplish. Before you make a decision, there are a few simple things you can do. First, find out exactly what your HOA requires for a sale. Second, check whether there are outstanding dues, assessments, or violations. Third, gather the documents you'll need. And finally, compare your options before spending a lot of money on the property. A little preparation can help prevent a lot of surprises later. If you're selling a house in Houston that's part of an HOA, and you're worried the fees, rules, or paperwork are going to make everything too complicated, take a breath. You still have options. The key is understanding your HOA situation and choosing the selling strategy that makes the most sense for you. If you'd like to explore an as-is sale, you can visit the website below and request a no-obligation offer. It takes less than a minute.